I'm Dhruv Baker and I'm here with Sacla today to give you some hints and tips on cooking a fabulous dish for entertaining. I'm doing my take on Cioppino, which is a wonderful fish stew which originates from the Italian fishing community in San Francisco. So to start off with, I'm going to get some olive oil into my pan, good glug. And add to that goes in some fennel, which I think is a fantastic ingredient to use with fish. Next up, some shallots. Now, these need to cook down for about 10 minutes, and what you're looking for is that kind of glossy translucence, but not too much colour. Just stir them through, coat them in that olive oil. So that's the fennel and the shallots, lovely and soft, and now in with the garlic. Now, the reason the garlic goes in after this is that if you put it in earlier, it'll burn, and you'll get a kind of acrid bitterness, which you really don't want. So in with the wine. And what we want is that wine to reduce down. So what you do is really kind of strengthen the flavour of it, but also burn off the alcohol. So the wine's reduced to about where I want it, and now it's in with the rest of the ingredients. That lovely tomato puree, which is going to add some sweetness, but also real body to that sauce. Fish stock. The tinned tomatoes. Got a really good squidge of this Sacla red pesto. And finally the star anise. I love star anise. It's one of those fantastic spices, and it goes beautifully with fish, but also echoes those flavours of the fennel that's already in there. Give that a really good stir. Just mix it all together. Right, so what I'm going to do is let that cook down for about 30 minutes. It reduces it down, really intensifies the flavours, and then it's time to get that beautiful fish we're using into the dish. So that's my sauce done. As you saw, incredibly simple, but if you haven't got the time, by all means use one of the Sacla ready sauces. Now time for the seafood. I'm using some pollock and some hake, some squid and some prawns just for a bit of texture, and then I'm also using these wonderful clams and mussels. So, start with the fish, straight in. Prawns and the squid. Just give everything a good stir through, just to coat in that lovely tomato sauce. And finally, the shellfish. There we go. Now, it doesn't matter if they're not all fully stirred through, because they're actually going to steam and open up when they're cooked. So stir them through a little bit, but as I said, it doesn't have to be all the way through. Just spread them out as evenly as possible. Now on with the lid, just a few minutes, and that'll be finished and ready to serve. That smells absolutely phenomenal, and you can see that because the shellfish has opened up and that fish has gone from being quite sort of translucent to opaque, that's cooked perfectly. I'm going to garnish with some fresh parsley, and the final garnish for this, to add a bit of texture and to add a nice kick of that pesto, some little croutons which I've made earlier. So just give it a squeeze, and then just spread that on with a knife. And I'm just going to scatter those around the outside of that dish. But that's it. That's my fantastically simple but wonderfully delicious take on a pesto spike cioppino.